Think that they can prove me wrong in this one, but we are into game number one, the final of the Challenger Series here between Ninjas in Pyjamas and Cloud9 Eclipse.
And of course, do not forget this is a best of three, so we'll see who's going to grab that title and who's going to end up walking away with the most Challenger points. It looks to be another defensive start here from both teams, which is the norm these days. We don't see too many invades, we don't see too many moves going forward, and I think with all those points on the line, it's going to be smart. It's a little bit of a dance party in it.
Bit of a dance party, and I always have to come back to this point about Kale. If you get rolling, if you make it late enough in-game, Kale is an absolute beast. I want to touch on that earlier game by Froggen, obviously, where although he was basically 1 versus 5 by the end of it because he was the only one that had got that strong, he could have tipped the balance of the game. We'll see how that one all gets going here. As we've said, so many questions really to be answered, especially with that man Shaka coming in for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
So you've touched on the fact that Febiven's Kale is going to scale very well. You know, the longer the game goes, the more of an impact he's going to have. Both of these teams actually scale very effectively. You know, I think that you've got Trundle that's going to become this mega tank killer. You've got Munda that's going to become a mega tank. There's a lot more damage sources on the side of Cloud9 Eclipse. So I think the longer the game goes, the more important it's going to be for NIP to find the right fight and get the right pick, because they simply don't have the same abundances of damage all the way down their roster. So we'll see how NIP handle that situation.
So it's going to be a top of the jungle start for both teams. Shaka and Zoro going to be starting off with the red buff, and over the other side, Ko is going to be helped out by Odo Amna to take his red buff away, and then we'll switch across. Obviously mid lane we have Kale versus Lulu, a matchup which is becoming all the more popular.
So this is a matchup we have actually seen already. Coutard was playing Kale. The first time we've seen it was Alex Edge playing Lulu. In the early game, Alex was able to get a kill onto that Kale just by out trading. What you tend to see with the Lulus is they go cooldown reduction in their runes, Russian Athenes, and it allows you to get 2 Glitter Lancers off 1 E. And that's basically why he becomes such a lane bully. Good trade here between Nukeduck and Febiven, but as it stands, it's about even.
This is going to be a very, very interesting game. If you just join us, don't forget, it's a best of 3 game. So one team going to need 2 wins to take that one home, and the title here for our first split in spring. Down on the bottom side there, we just saw Shaka with that Wukong starting to move on towards his red buff. And in the bottom lane, actually, it's Ninjas in Pyjamas that are doing all the pressuring.
So an early level 2 for Freeze and Mythias allowed them to sort of zone Hyanin and Voidal a little bit out of the way. The range on Jinx and Thresh, plus I think the early damage is a little bit higher. Voidal needs to get a little more aggressive. He's been hooked.
He's been hooked, but I'm not sure that they could get a kill from this one. There's a stun down from Voidal, and he just puts that damage right back in on Myth. He took good damage from the minions in there as well.
Considering that Hyanin hasn't taken any damage at all, that trade was actually in the advantage of NIP. What I'd like to see from Voidal with that Annie's charging up the stun, get that Pyromania ready, and then continuously auto-attack. Have the threat of stunning Freeze up, because the follow-up damage from Hyanin's Lucian can be very high. They've caught Hyanin.
There's another hook coming in. Zap is actually going to land this time around Mithy, down below half HP. In the end, though, again, they couldn't pull any further. Just simple trading going on. Bit of power play in that bottom lane. I
don't think Voidal actually even landed any damage on his W either there, so we'll have to keep an eye on who's landing their abilities. As it stands, Mythy and Voidal going quite aggressive. Shaka making the first potential move of the game, and literally as we start to say it, he decides to recall in the Tribush. This top lane between Trundle and Mundo should actually be a little bit of a farm fest. Even though Odo Amna's got that Ignite, it's going to need a few more items before he can really threaten getting a kill on Zoro Zero.
Yeah, and if you think about it as well, looking into the 2 junglers coming in, until level 6, especially for Wukong, there's not really much CC to get anything going. Slows is basically what they've got there to work with in that top lane. This mid lane might be a little bit different though, with a bit more burst ability available to the 2.
Now, we heard during the preview video how all of the players, they all in Challenger, etc. But Nukeduck, I believe coming into yesterday, if not still today, held the #1 ranked position on EU West. And we'll see if that's going to affect this game. Ko, level 4, snuck himself into the bush. There's no vision here from Ninjas in Pyjamas. So if Annie gets a good stun down, maybe they're going to follow it up. Not too many minions and just going to back away.
I think Ninjas in Pyjamas completely felt that one coming as well. They noticed that, hang on a minute, Cloud9 are pushing that bottom lane out heavier than they've been doing all game so far, and that signal that jungler was maybe waiting there, pushing through the brushes for them. And funnily enough, Ko is actually coming back down on towards this bottom lane, but at this point, it would take a dive to be getting in on any action.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a risky play diving with a Kha'Zix or anybody similar until you've got Kael's help with that intervention. So Cloud9 Eclipse just going to back away from that one, continue this sort of passive bombing. You know, we talked a little bit about the players. Zoro0 is a top laner that is touted as being one of the best, if not the strongest in Europe. A lot of the pros that we were talking to about this match were specifically saying how Zoro0 is expected to do well, and we're going to have to keep our eyes on him on this Dr. Mundo.
On the Mundo, a champion which, as I said, he's played a lot of. 3 out of the 5 games that they've played in Challenger, he has played with Mundo and won them all. Interesting stat for you there. In fact, they've only lost 1 game, so not that hard. That was on a Renekton either way. But up against Odoamne, who also is in a similar position. You know, Trundle, Renekton, Mundo, Shyvana. Kind of typical top lane champion pools that both of these guys have.
Yeah, definitely not trending towards those AP champs that we're seeing a little more in the LCS. As it stands, another hook. This one catches Hjarnan, but he's going to be able to just dash away. And again, Mithy he's been good with his death sentences. I think he's landed all the ones that we've seen thus far, but it hasn't really garnered them any sort of lead or any sort of kill potential. Look at both of the supports. They do both have Ignite as well, so if anybody gets too low, then we'll be in trouble. Febiven's going to be the first one to get ganked.
He is, but I'm not sure they're actually going to be able to do all that much to him. He's level 6, he's got intervention. Shaka didn't have his ultimate available, so they had nothing to really hold him in. There's another hook down bottom. Hjarnan going to get flayed. He's on top of the traps here, but Freeze taking a lot of damage. Can they finish off Hjarnan? There's the Lantern taken in. There is the barrier from Hjarnan coming through. The Zap will do it. Have they got the damage to kill Voidal here? Freeze will actually fall to Voidal. Mithy realizing he can't do much more. It's kill for kill down the bottom, but first blood, NIP.
Yeah, trading the advantage goes to NIP thanks to Freeze getting the kill bonus, thanks to him getting that additional gold from first blood. A nice play actually that the hook from Mithy caught Hjarnan off guard, wasn't anticipating Mithy going in. I didn't think he was going to follow up with that secondary active on the death sentence. Nevertheless, we do see Freeze coming back into lane. BF Sword as well as the boots, so damage will be even, but Freeze is going to be able to kite and dodge a little bit more. Ko may be the next target. We'll see if he's going to jump on Zoro0. He doesn't have his ultimate. He's going to go in.
Yeah, and he's baited total into this one. There's a pillar going down, a flash, but that won't help when Kha'Zix going to jump on top of you. Ko picks up the second kill for Cloud9.
That was a lot of burst coming down. The subjugate into instant ignite meant that Zoro0 lost his defensive statistics and he couldn't regenerate with sadism, so he just got melted by that damage. I actually think it was very good that Ko was the one that got the kill credit, because you need that additional gold on a jungle Kha'Zix. If it had gone to Trundle, who we know is going to get tanky, we know has tools to make himself more beefy in team fights, it's less efficient. So almost smart play by Cloud9.
This is a smart play from NIP though, knowing that the jungler was on the top side of the map, knowing that Trundle was up there as well. Obviously has no teleport, which Zoro0 does have. He used that, by the way, to get back into his lane after going down. He's now in there with that giant spell. NIP said, we've got the stronger team on this side of the map. Let's just go and take the dragon. Exactly what they did. 300 gold lead.
Yeah, and it worked out perfectly in their favor. We'll see. It's interesting. I wonder who would have made that call. Whether it would have come from a player like Shaka, or whether it would have come from somebody like Mithy or Freeze or Nukeduck, you know, one of the ex-LCS players that's been on this stage. So they grab that one. They're going to have the timer for it. We'll see if they want to challenge. Voidal's returning back to lane with that Relic Shield as well as the Dawn's Blade. So already a difference in itemization. I want to see how Voidal's going to be last hitting, if at all, to spread some of that gold.
Shaka actually nearly died to his red buff there. I'm sure you guys at home noticed the blinking red health bar of his, and he actually backed away from it there and decided to go home to heal. But we are seeing those first blue buffs coming out. Actually, Nukeduck already has his, and there is one for Febiven as well in the mid lane on Kael. As I said, both of them now up to level 6. And Shaka, once he hits that level 6, which should be very, very soon here, he's going to get interesting. He's currently a couple of levels behind, actually.
Yeah, so Ko does have that additional kill under his belt for extra XP, and we've seen Ko in the lanes. He's leached some CS from both bottom and top lane. Not necessarily killing it, but just the experience working in his favor. So that is a testament to him being level 6. 7. I believe that Shaka has just hit level 6, so he's got his Cyclone available. He's going to need to combo it most likely with a good Death Sentence from Mithy if they want to get more kills. And you can see Shaka immediately moving to the bottom lane. There's no vision further up the bushes here for Cloud9 Eclipse. So we could see a Lantern gank, or Snecker's just going to sneak in. He's got it with Decoy.
There is a Decoy, and there is a Cyclone. Have they got the damage to finish this one off? The hook actually missing. There goes Tibbers down, and they've hardly taken any damage there, to be honest, Cloud9. NIP have to back away. Shaka nearly went down even.
Shaka ate every single bullet of the culling as he was trying to spin with that Cyclone. Spin to win did not work out for him this time around, and a nice defensive play from Cloud9 Eclipse. It did cost them both of their ultimates, however, they didn't burn any of their summoner spells, so very nice just backing away from that. I think Shaka needs to get way more tanky if he wants to try and sustain damage, but with Mundo on the team, we're most likely just going to see him building damage items.
That was interesting. Zoro didn't have a ward down in River, doesn't have his flash after he used it last time when he went down up there to the gank, but Ko deciding actually he's going to get back onto his jungle path, and looks like he's going to try and come in there through the lane, which is for me is a long way around, but we can see the ward, so there we go.
What's very important to note about that is that Cloud9 have pulled Ko up there the moment Ignite comes off cooldown. As Ko was running into the bushes, Ignite had just become available now for Odo1 there to use. They may wait for Zoro to push this wave back out, because at this moment in time, there's a lot of minions to deal with, and I'm going to be a little scared. Look at the Shaka, aware of the dive, he's coming in.
Shaka coming around, he doesn't have his Cyclone available. Odo is going to get caught out from this one, but look at the burst coming out there. There is a kill onto Shaka. Cloud9 start to back away, but they need to be careful here. Nuke Duck's coming up, he stood on top of a pink ward. He's killing the pink ward because why ever not? Kale is coming up there as well in case they needed him, and that will just be a single kill for Cloud9. Again, nicely done. Shaka is so squishy right now, we just saw that.
He just got shredded. The Subjugate plus Ignite once again coming down from Odo1 there. Ko was able to jump in from behind, grab them a kill. They've set their sights on Nuke Duck, and there goes Febivin.
Yeah, gonna dive in onto him. Do they have the damage here? No. And wow, that's a big hit onto Ko. As he said, Athene's Unholy Grail was rushed out here by Nuke Duck.
What we have seen is both of the junglers are squishy. They've caught Voidal now.
They've caught Voidal in there. The box has gone down, but I think actually NIP are going to be losing out on damage from this one. Yarnan focusing straight towards Freeze. Half of his health gone. Voidal didn't really take much damage.
I'm not quite sure why they were trying to focus Voidal. There wasn't any auto attacks down onto Yarnan, so the moment that Freeze turned his attention to that Annie, Hanan just said, thank you very much, I'll just keep auto-attacking Freeze's Jinx, and forced him away. Freeze trying to get these double golems without taking any damage. Resets once or twice. He does a pretty good job of it at the end.
Yeah, making sure they go down for him. Obviously, he's got a BF Sword boots in there. And it's been a while since these bot laners go back, so I'm assuming that they are sat on a decent amount of health right now. As we see Zoro, he might actually get caught out from this. He does now have his flash available. Will use it as well, but almost as quickly as it comes off cooldown, it's back on it again.
So, a difference in approaches here as far as the lanes are concerned. The only ganks we've seen from Ninjas in Pyjamas has been for Freeze and Mithy. Shaka tried to make it work, and then he responded to a gank in the top lane, which didn't work in their favor. Now, NIP have been caught up. There's Tibbers. Look at Febivin coming from the tri-bush.
Yeah, this could be very, very dangerous. They could dive this one. They have intervention available, but we see from Cloud9's side, they want to play this very, very safely. I think problem was they didn't know where Shaka was there. Nuke Duck had started to move down a little bit on the river as well, so better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And in terms of the dynamic of play, Cloud9 have been much more proactive in trying to find ganks and trying to roam. Every time a fight is rocked up in that top or bottom lane, Febivin has attempted to move, has attempted to roam. It hasn't worked out just yet, but we'll see how well he continues to scale. He's a little bit behind on CS to Nuke Duck, but it is somewhat to be expected. It is quite difficult to deal with that Lulu in those early levels, thanks to the slow, the shield, and the constant auto-attack harass that can come down.
So just nailing his red buff down there. Easy damage for him, easy kill. There's that one. We'll see where he goes. Actually, mid lane, not really had much focus put into it whatsoever up until now. I was expecting, honestly, a little bit more in there with players, of Febivin and Nuke Duck's kind of caliber from this.
It's mostly because of the champions. Kayle, without a couple of items on her belt, is actually not all that scary. And in addition to that, Lulu needs some assistance from other champions and from other lanes to really try secure kills and get them locked down. So that's why that mid lane has turned into a bit of a farm fest. The one thing that Ninjas and Pyjamas have done well, they secured the first dragon of the game, realizing that Cloud9 were up in the top lane. Now they've started the second one off. They've got a lot of members around. If Cloud9 want to challenge, they have to go soon, because this is going down quite quickly.
It is going down quickly. Ko is going to jump in there and actually will steal that one away. He ult stealthing out of there, and that is a great steal from there. There's the culling coming out, which should stop Shaka actually getting in to do anything. And, well, that is a mega bonus for Cloud9 right there. You cannot afford that to happen. Shaka still got his smite up.
Didn't expect it at all. I think Shaka was not anticipating Ko coming in there, get caught napping a little bit, lose the dragon. And it's something you have to ask, is that going to affect Shaka's mentality? Is this something that can throw him a little bit off, considering he's the sub, he's the guy that was brought in to replace Armin, who is a jungler that, to be brutally honest, helped carry Ninjas and Pyjamas to this final.
Along with Nuke, I'd argue with that one, as up until now, well, he's doing what we said Lulu's do well. Have a great laning phase, but is he going to be able to have the impact later? Look at this, Odo Abner going 1-on-1 versus Zoro0, chomps down, and he's taken 3 or 4 turret hits in there, hardly lost any health for it, and that was just a simple 1v1 under the tower. Shouldn't happen.
No, it definitely shouldn't. But when you've got that Trundle with Subjugate available, with Ignite available, there's nothing you can really do. Zoro0's gone for Flash Teleport. He should be making plays across the map, maybe even have used that teleport of the dragon and picked a fight on behalf of Ninjas and Pyjamas. As it stands, he's playing a little bit passive. He's down on CS, he's down on kills, and the fact that Trundle's already got that Blade of the Ruined King at 15 minutes, and he's getting kills, and now they're on the inner turret, this is a great position for Cloud9.
Yeah, Shaka coming up from this one, but are they scared of Shaka at this point?
No.
I don't really think they are. Odo Abner even putting damage down onto Shaka there, forcing him to decoy underneath his own turret. Oh, and here is Ku waiting. Nuke actually wards right on top of him, spots him out, and that's always dangerous when that Kha'Zix is, you know, he's really quite got rolling, got that pickaxe in there already at 101.
I want to see where Ko actually does decide to itemize, if he's going to go for maybe an early Last Whisper, or alternatively a more traditional item, which would be the oh, we do see Febiven has been caught by Nuke.
Yeah, he does use the intervention there, but that Ignite ticking away on him! And that is the beauty. You think you've got away from the Pixie, but actually no.
No, Pix just flying behind. There's the glitter launch. Now Odo Abner is the one in trouble. Subjugate comes down.
Subjugate coming in from this one, and all of a sudden Zoro0's thinking, hang on a minute, can he get through this one? He's got no Ignite here though, Odo Abner, and he's gonna surely go down to Zoro0, who's trying to lifesteal back there, and Zoro0 gets through it.
So importantly to note, Zoro0 is able to basically win that fight with his ultimate and a Sunfire Cape. We do see, oh, that was close. Odo Abner didn't have Ignite. Now, naturally, if that was available, Zoro0 would not have won. However, Zoro knew that it wasn't up because it was just used to kill him a minute or two ago. If Zoro0 can continue picking fights at the right time, he can try pull himself back into that lane. He's now even on CS, but he's backing away. He needs to play a little bit safer.
Let's have a look at CS while we're talking about it there. Freeze is ahead down in that bottom lane, has that kill to his name as well. Over on the other side, yeah, we shouldn't also forget the face of the mountain in there, which obviously adds a little bit more in there onto that total that we're seeing. Meanwhile, Kohi are coming around that mid lane. Nuke and Mithy are there. Voidal's coming to join in as well, but I think we're just going to see a trade of a few wards.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are going to set their sights on these middle turrets as it is right now. Both teams got one turret down. You can see the AD carry of Cloud9 Eclipse is slowly moving up towards this red buff. Cloud9 are doing well at getting vision control. I think they're setting this one up for Dragon. It should be a couple of minutes, 3 or so, until it respawns. And by getting this nice ring of vision, it's going to give Cloud9 the ability to interpret and interact with NIP as and when they move for it.
Well, they were actually trying to just catch them out, I think, here, down on that bottom lane. Nice chompers going into the brush will reveal, but will they hold on to the turret? Actually, Ko going right up in their face from that. The hook won't land. The turret, no, he needed one more auto attack. Minions, just enough. I think the last minion that was alive there, a single auto attack. Cast the minions too strong, and that will be the turret going down. Nuke, however, is causing some problems for Febiven in the middle lane.
Yeah, he's starting to pull ahead now. Now that Nuke's got the makings of that Lich Bane, he goes for the Lich Bane to add additional damage, whereas, you know, Lulu doesn't have normal damage dealing spells. So we'll see how he makes Febiven's life more difficult. The rest of Cloud9 are trying to react, but Nuke's backed away in time.
Had that ward in there, which was just out of range of that scan. now they move up towards that top side of their jungle where the red buff is now available. Nukeduck knows of the pink ward in there because he was used to clear out one of their own wards earlier on, but do you want to really face check into a brush? No, you probably don't. Knowing that Kha'Zix was around there somewhere. Currently 1-0-1, you don't want to get him rocking and rolling because he's already got that last whisper in.
So whichever team makes the jump on their opponents first is the team that's going to be able to get kills. And what I mean by that is Shaka and Ko are super squishy. There's no defensive statistics there. We've seen how quickly both of them have been melted. You've got Febiven and Nukeduck who've both got ultimates that save somebody's life. But if they get bursted down by all of the damage that's sitting on either of these teams, if you polymorph Kayle, then knock her up with a Cyclone and get some auto attacks from Jinx, that's going to be a dead Kayle before she even gets out of the Munchkin form. So I think vision and finding a pick is very important for both of these teams and both of their compositions.
Freeze now moving up towards that mid lane. Actually, this is good damage that he's putting in on towards Febiven. And he will lose his tower here, no doubt about that one. Can't really do anything to keep it up. Voidal had come around to try and help out with that one, but quite simply too much power in that mid lane with the Lulu, who now has that Lich Bane as well. Yeah,
and I'm very happy to see that Shaka's grabbed himself a Giant's Belt, so he's going to be a little less insta-gibbable, but still very squishy. No additional armor or magic resist just yet. Now that Dragon has respawned, we talked about how the vision from Cloud9 is going to let them know where NIP are, but NIP are using those sweeping lenses. They've got 3 of them. They're clearing out the vision of Cloud9, and we do see there's a couple of wards, so this little Dragon dance is going to be happening. The rest of NIP, they're going for the turret, but they split up.
They split up from this one. Interesting decision. Shaka and Zoro there at the front. We're going to see Odo Amna getting right in on top of them, but I'm not sure he's got the damage. Actually, we'll get hooked from this one. This could be bad news for him, as we're going to see him going very low. Shaka going low as well. No kill so now, but here comes Ko jumping in there. Picks up that kill on towards Shaka. Can they chase down for any more here? Ko right at the front trying to get in. He gets hooked. They can burst him down. Great intervention. Tibbers came in as well, but the follow-up's just not there. And now Febiven being constantly slowed down, and he comes to the front. Voidal now getting hooked in as well. The damage can come back. Voidal is still alive, finally gets finished off, and now Hjarnan, in middle of nowhere to be honest, has to try and get away. Flash hook from Mithy. Hjarnan's going to go down from this. It's a double kill for Freeze.
Now NIP should go for the Dragon. They've got themselves 2 kills. They did lose 1 though. Shaka did go down during the course of that fight. Cloud9 were able to respond quite well, and you see, I think, the fact that Ninjas and Pyjamas have a new member in their roster, they didn't stack up quickly enough. They were caught a little bit spread out. Luckily for NIP, Cloud9 continued to chase when maybe they should have backed away, and Mithy with some great hooks, allowing NIP some kills on the way out.
So far, Mithy has been on point with those hooks. There's no doubt about that one. The flash up there at the end as well, really coming in handy for them. So let's take stock after that fight, after the Dragon goes down. It's currently 5-4 in kills for Cloud9. Look at the goal. It's pretty much bang on even at this stage, 23 minutes in. We've got 2-2 on turrets. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much more even than this one. One thing that, again, I want to kind of touch back onto is this Kayle that's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Basically
a ticking time bomb. And we've seen the impact that Kayles can have. And when you consider that you've got, you know, a little bit of HP on Shaka's Wukong, but 3 other champions that are fairly squishy, you get the burst down from Febiven's Kayle, and you allow Ko to sort of hop in there and try get some resets. You have a very scary reset potential team. However, Ko cannot afford to get caught out by that hook. He needs to hop in, get a kill, hop out, wait for his rest of his team to then regroup and push forward. And we'll see how Ko decides to itemize from here. He's grabbed himself a cloth armor, and the rest of NIP are now grouping towards this top lane. There are pings on this tri-bush, so Cloud9 are aware that NIP are up here.
Yeah, actually, Void Spike's just thrown in there. It's Hjarnan going to get caught out somewhat by Nukeduck. Does he want to follow through? He's got no flash, so couldn't get over the wall on top of him there and keep that one going. In the end, no kills for either side of things.
Yeah, 50% if Hjarnan's HP was lost by those little ones. Shaq has been caught.
He has been caught out, but he manages to take the lantern there back to safety, use the decoy, and takes the ride home. And NIP are actually pushing here in that mid lane, and that's Jinx and
that's
a Lulu who's got a Lich Bane in there. I'm sorry, but that tower's not lasting long.
There's nothing you can do to stop that. The tower pushing power of a Jinx plus a Lulu, and the fact that they've got great escapes. Lulu's going to be able to throw down that Whimsy on herself, get the speed boost up, plus Jinx's passive is just going to allow them to get out cleanly, safely, and that's exactly what happened in that situation. So NIP take the tower lead, but they are still looking for a kill in this top lane. They want to get this last outer turret. If Mithy gets a hook, they will dive Odo1 there, but I think if he doesn't get a hook, they should just focus the tower down.
Go is there as well. Shaka just backing off with the decoy. There is the hook. And the minions are gone. They start to back away from things. Zoro can tank up there, especially now that that Freezer's come in on Jinx with that assassination potential when he's got that super mega death rocket. I'll get it out in a second. And they do take out the turret and just back away.
Now this is something that we've also got to touch on, is how many champions in NIP are good at taking down those towers. You've got an attack damage steroid on Dr. Mundo. You've got Wukong, who can use his crushing blow on towers. We've already touched on the Lich Bane and the Jinx. Once NIP get to a tower, it will not last very long. And this is something that Cloud9 need to prevent. They've got some very good engages. They can Ko that can jump in with intervention. They have Voidal that can use that Tibbers for a stun. But they're not necessarily the best at defending those sieges. You know, they don't have the longest of pokes. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Cloud9 to find those opportunities to engage.
Still a tense one here. Ninjas in Pyjamas will have now gained the gold advantage. Albeit around about 1,000. Not a massive lead for them, but we can see a few more items starting to appear on this one. Randuin's Omen finished along with the Sunfire Cape for Zoro Zero. So he's already going to be immune more and less to those AD champions, obviously unless it's 3v1, 4v1, whatever. Still, for me though, he needs to get that Spirit Visage in there as quickly as possible because, well, Febiven's getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, and I think the key for these team fights is going to be which top lane is going to have the biggest impact. You know, you've got two, almost steals that blue buff from Freeze, but I think with Zoro Zero going full tank, there's no, you don't tend to build damage items in Dr. Mundo anyway. Odo1 can shut him down quite efficiently. If I recall correctly, when Rocket played Fnatic for the first time, Xaxis was the one playing Trundle and Soaz was playing Dr. Mundo, and I distinctly remember Soaz being caught by a hook, having his stats stolen, and like Dr. Mundo, full tank, was killed very quickly. I think that's what Cloud9 want to try and do if these fights happen, because if Zoro Zero and Shaka get to the backline, get to Hyana and Voidal, they can wreak havoc with the Cyclone and the damage that Mundo can put out, the sustained ongoing damage.
Yeah, and the tankier the better almost for that Subjugate ultimate coming out of Odoamne. Let's see now what the other team can do when it comes to pushing turrets, because they're going onto this middle outer turret. There's a box down from Mithy. He's taken a lot of damage. Shaka's going to come spinning on through. Turret goes down finally. There is Tibbers. 2 kills, actually 1 kill. That's hella line. One of them coming down there on towards Thresh. Can they get any more? Code is going to go down. Pyjamas is trying to get some kills as well, but everyone going so low
Super
in that
Mega
one.
Death Rocket.
Nuke is coming through here as well. The Super Mega Death Rocket, where is it? Why is he not going to go for that one? Is he going to... I don't think it's enough actually to kill Odoamne, so they'll keep that one up. And Zoro Zero going to pop his ultimate here. They might look to push back, you know.
2 for 1, tower and 1 for 1 as far as the fight was concerned. Cloud9 diving under the turret after Febiven was caught. Mithy actually committed to that one, landing a good death sentence. Once again, we see Cloud9 starting off the fight well, but then I think maybe overcommitting or staying too long, and that's what allowed NIP to grab themselves a kill. We did also see Ko just make a beeline for Freeze. Great replay here. Now focus on Febiven being caught out. The rest of NIP are trying to respond, and also take note that the top lane is not there. Zoro Zero only just started to teleport in, so this whole fight, Cloud9 felt that they were 5v4. We did have a very good Cyclone from Shaka, and you see Ko, he manages to jump in, get a kill, leaps out, and now we're back in a fight.
Now we are back in a fight. Febiven is dead in this fight though. Around the dragon, Hot comes through, doesn't quite land onto Ko, but that gives Ninjas in Pyjamas now the dragon. They can't challenge for this Cloud9. They came in there to try and stop that happening, but NIP take that one away. They're now 2,000. Not quite. 1,500 gold in the lead of this one. We're back to 660 kills. NIP still have the turret lead.
Yeah, and that particular dragon engage, if you notice, there's not a lot of vision past the dragon or past the river for Cloud9 and Eclipse. So Febiven actually walks in there basically blind. I think part of the reason that he got caught out was just that, they didn't have enough sight to work with. We see Zoro Zero a little bit overextended. He's going to back away and get out cleanly from that particular situation. But now Ko and Shaka both getting more tanky. Aegis of the Legion picked up for Shaka. We're seeing this week more Aegis into Lockets than any other week of the LCS so far. And of course now for the Challenger Series.
I just want to point out the AD carry builds at this point as well, because Freeze. 4-1-1 on that Jinx. Bloodthirst, the Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper, and going up to what I think is going to be a Banshee's Veil for him in there as well. He is pretty scary right now.
He is, and it's also a slightly different build from what we actually see from Jinxes. We tend to see the static shivs on them because you can get that magic damage from the critical of the shiv plus the splash damage from your rocket launcher and really kill waves very quickly. This time around, Freeze has just gone for even more damage. Once he eventually gets to the likes of that Infinity Edge, he's actually going to be able to deal with Oda there because there's so much damage that comes down from Jinx and a minigun and that attack speed steroid that she has.
Just seeing a few wards being put down by Baron as well here, so that whole game is going to start to kick off basically between Mithy and Voidal to see who can get the best wards down and who can clear them out. Straight away after that one, we saw there Mithy a little bit cautious. He's on his own there in that Baron pit, so needs to watch out somewhat how far he actually goes through here, and he knows that ward's obviously in because he's already done one chunk of damage to it, and he will regain that ward control. But again, sweeping lenses pretty much across the map. We've got 7 in the game so far.
Yeah, 4 on the side of NIP, 3 on the side of Cloud9. Considering the amount of wards we had in the early game, both teams have realized that they're pushing quite aggressively actually into opponent's territory, so making sure you have that vision control is definitely going to pay dividends. Co just basically scouting the Baron. Just wants to see. There was no vision there for Cloud9. You can see there's no wards in that pit thanks to NIP's good positioning of that pink ward. And again, it's just use the sweeping lens, deny the vision, and force your opponents to make a move. Cloud9 and NIP, we touched on how they both want to get a pick, they both want to get a kill, and then they can do other stuff, and that's what they're trying to do now.
Who's going to be able to get that one? Hook something of a setup device there. We can see that actually Voidal's flash is coming off cooldown here soon, so that's always a big option for Cloud9. And actually in that last fight, he did manage to flash in there and get Tibbers down onto the AD carry at the back. The problem that they had was there was no damage, no one able to get in there and follow things up. NIP have started Baron, but we can see Cloud9 pushing it.
Yeah, we do see, oh, that hook was so close to connecting. Nice ward comes down from Cloud9, and Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're trying to use Baron as a bait. Teleport is about to become available now for Zoro. So one way or the other, NIP are applying pressure on this map and forcing Cloud9 to react to them. As long as NIP don't get surprised, if Cloud9 jump on them with a big fight, NIP can continue doing this until they either get in a turret or a Baron. Zoro may be the target of a subjugate. We'll see if Oda goes in, decides against it.
And I think this bottom lane is going to pretty much go like that for a while here. Back and forth as Zoro tries to open up a bit of an opportunity on the map for his team. We see that the Locket of the Iron Solari is now in fact finished in there for Shaka, so it's going to give him a bit more when it comes to team fights.
What I like about that, we just see Ko right now, and that Locket's going to be very important in trying to prevent that first or second reset. You throw that Locket down on the initial burst, and if Ko jumps into a fight expecting to get a kill in a reset and all of a sudden he's going to burn through that shield, it makes it a lot easier to focus him down and kill him. He doesn't have that mobility, so we'll see if Shaka's timing on that ability will be good. Still sitting on that single Giant's Belt is his only real HP item, and Oda and Zoro, the exciting tank wars continues.
Exciting is one word for it, that's for sure. There's Ko using that sweeping lens outside of Baron, and they now have almost full control of that one. That's the annoying thing. Yeah, cleared out the ward and they just plop one straight down in front of you. You can't do anything about that. Second one coming in. Now Cloud9 getting back towards the middle. So a tense period, and you can see why. This is, the Challenger Series final. It's the first game of the best of 3. Both teams still testing the waters a little bit with each other.
Ninjas in Pyjamas don't necessarily have the strongest of siege compositions. They don't have super great poke. They've got Lulu that can throw out glitter lances, sure. But you don't have a Ziggs, you don't have a Gragas to sit and poke your opponents down and force them to take damage, which allows you to put damage on the turret. So that's the reason NIP are now stalling out this mid-game and trying to find ways to make make Cloud9 come to them. If Cloud9 are jumping on NIP, then NIP's composition is great. They can react, they can fight. On a similar token, Cloud9 doesn't have a very good tower sieging team themselves. They've got even less poke. And in order for Cloud9 to make something happen, they have to all in you. So similarly to day 1 of the week, slower paced games, teams with a little bit less clear initiation, Voidal can flash Tibbers, but that's always risky. Of course, Mithy, if he gets a hook, that's definitely a way in.
You can see there, the blue buff was taken away. They've got ward control down on that bottom side here, and they're setting up a little bit of a trap, and well, I'll build it up. We throw the hook a little bit too early there, Mithy, but that's okay. Voidal just got a ward down, but there's another pink ward to stop that actually from giving them the vision, which means that Cloud9 have to start to come through here. They need kind of the man ward to be in position, which should be Odoamne. He's the tankiest of the bunch, but are they going to kick it off?
Well, Dragon is going to go low. They've caught Odoamne, and there's the flash!
Yeah, flash Tibbers. He actually caught 4 men in there. Ko is surely going to go down. No, intervention gets onto him in time. Odoamne right in the front of them. They're actually focusing on the tank, and they're going to kill him off as well. The Ninjas in Pyjamas can turn around from this one. Ko's going down. Febiven's going down. The big chase comes in as Nukeduck gets himself a triple. There's the slow on to Voidal as well. This is going to be an ace. Wow, max range hook from Mithy will finish it. It's a quadra kill for Lulu. I'll take everything back that I've said about Lulu not being effective later on. NIP get the ace. They're going to have the dragon and maybe an inhib turret.
They got exactly what they wanted. The Ninjas in Pyjamas composition wants you to jump on them, then react. We've seen the Locket of the Iron Solari coming down from Shaka. That actually prevented the first reset from Ko jumping in. They forced him down low. We had to see the intervention being used on Ko's Kha'Zix, but he used all his cooldowns, so it didn't matter. Ninjas in Pyjamas then just clean house. With the slow from Glitterlance and the movement speed increase from Freeze's Jinx, they get themselves 5 kills rather, a Dragon and a Baron, and now an 8,000 gold lead in about 40 seconds.
And here's another look back at that fight. Look at Voidal's Tibbers here. 4 many caught.
Now, if Febiven had been a little closer and got some Righteous Fury swings down, that would have helped. That would have been splash damage on that that E, which would have been great. And even better, if it had been a Kragus or a Ziggs, they could have popped Ninjas in Pyjamas. But Febiven is so far away from the beginning of the fight, and he joins so late. It's basically over. He needed to be a little quicker, maybe even needed to flash in with Voidal. A little bit of, dare I say, miscommunication from Cloud9 in that Voidal was so far forward and nobody else reacted in time.
Yeah, I actually think that Febiven called that one to back away, or someone had called to back away, because he had already changed direction, was headed back towards his own jungle. So, well, Cloud9, we were talking about Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're the ones with the replacement jungler in here, a position which is probably the most key when it comes to communication. And from what we just saw in that last team fight, it seems like NIP have the advantage there. They've now got Baron, they took that last dragon, they're 4-3 up in turrets, and they're going to try and push some advantage with that Baron buff on. Yeah,
I think with the Baron buff and the fact that they've got themselves a nice big lead now, and the fact that Zoro's actually grabbed himself that Thornmail is going to be very difficult to deal with, considering 3 of Cloud9's members are auto attackers. They are, don't really want to be smacking him. Now NIP are going to start this siege using the good range from Freeze. He gets the minigun out, and that's going to be another tower. Oh, no hook this time. That was a bit of a brave flash.
Yeah, he flayed first and then threw the hook. Didn't quite work out for Mithy, but that can sometimes happen to you. He's been hitting hooks left, right and centre all day so far, so let's not criticise him for the one that's missed. Nukeduck actually clearing things out as well inside of the jungle. We've seen what kind of impact he can have here. And in the meantime, Ninjas in Pyjamas just sticking outside on the Sebzeza hook going through it. Had the right direction, just not quite the range. Well, look at this, Febiven and Ku, they're coming in behind. They want to try and play the pincer move here on towards Ninjas in Pyjamas, and look at this, they're chasing after Ku. Lucian's outside the base as well. Odoamne comes in, and they fall straight back in. Little bit of a ballsy play positioning-wise there from Cloud9, doesn't work. Yeah, they did get the ultimate out of Ku as well, so if the fight were to break out, they've already got a small advantage. We see Lulu pushing the mid lane. Zoro's tanked about 7 turret hits and is hardly taking damage. Freeze continues using max range on that Q to smack down the turret. They've caught the troll, and they're not going to go in yet. Not going to go in for that one, and we saw Zoro 0 underneath the tower. His regen absolutely massive right now as Odoamne comes out the base, puts in the pillar. There's the box going down. Tibber's got 3 of them, but have they got the follow-up damage this time around? Odoamne again is in the middle of them. There's Ku, doesn't quite get the reset on towards Shaka, but they do manage to shut down Nukeduck. Can they get any more from it? Slow landed onto Freeze, but Ninjas in Pyjamas already backing off. I think Cloud9 are happy with what they got there. Yeah, Nukeduck needed to be a little bit closer to that fight. He didn't get Glitter Lances off really. He did have a decent enough wild growth, but Cloud9 just got all of the damage onto the right targets. Odoamne just tanked through so much of the damage that Zoro 0 and the rest of NIP were putting out. So, pretty good fight for Cloud9. And this is the problem that NIP have. They're not particularly strong at sieging. They got some good damage in the top turret with the Baron buff, but they are at such risk of being engaged upon by Cloud9 Eclipse that they backed away instantly as soon as that fight began. Yeah, I mean, Zoro Zero, he can sit there and tank the turret hit, but it means that his team needs to close in. We've seen that Cloud9 not scared of getting in there and doing the dirty work and getting the fight started. I mean, just to look through Zoro's items, Randuin's Omen, Spirit Visage, Sunfire Cape, Thornmail, he's got another Giant's Belt in there. He's got about 4 million armor right now. Those turrets don't do anything to it.
Nothing at all. And sitting close to 4,000 hit points. However, you do have Odoamne that can steal a very large portion of those stats.
True.
So as long as Odoamne gets on him and the rest of NIP can't respond, it can work out well. Cloud9 are now setting a bait. They've been sitting in this bush. They've got pretty good vision control. The rest of NIP, however, have now started to back away. Nukeduck may find himself in trouble. He's going to go for blue. This is going to hurt.
It's not just going to hurt. It's going to just be death for him. Odoamne gets the kill in the end. And, well, sometimes a little bit unfortunate. Actually, they're going to keep going for this one. That's a good pillar coming down. Actually, I say good. It kind of blocked them from getting through the jungle as well there. I think the troll was a little bit too hefty to squeeze through. Kayle did get through there in the end, but Cloud9 not able to chase on, but they might be able to do some damage here onto this turret, if not take it down.
Yeah, Cloud9 have definitely got the ability right now. We'll see whether or not Voidal wants to go in. The flash has already been used from Voidal, so Tibbus is still up, I believe. I don't think he casted it. Rest of Cloud9 chasing in. They've hooked Odoamne, but you don't want Odoamne. There's Tibbus actually. He's tanking up the turret. The rest of the team is trying to defend.
There's a hook coming in on towards Ko, but they didn't follow it through. Freeze is there. Still 20 seconds until Nukeduck comes up in this one. Another hook goes through. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to do a whole lot. They don't get the finisher that they need, but there's the dive in. Voidal is going to have the intervention on him. Febiven going to turn around, pop Shaka, force them back in. They grab the troll once more, but have they got the damage here? I think he just wants to escape. That's a great pillar going down, and it will be Cloud9 able to walk away from this one with that inhibitor and the inhibitor going down.
And they grabbed themselves some kills on the way out as well. So a decent enough attempt from Ninjas in Pyjamas, but they just got caught out. All of this came from the fact that Cloud9 were able to get vision of the blue buff, realized that NIP were just going to move up for the blue. Cloud9 had stolen it, got themselves a kill, and now they have map control. With super minions going down the middle lane, Cloud9 should be able to start trying to siege themselves, force NIP to respond to super minions, and then again, go for a 5v4 kind of fight. It's a very good decision from Cloud9.
See the tankier items now coming in. Thornmail was completed for Trundle. We've got now Randuins on both top laners and both junglers at this point. There's an Infinity Edge for both AD carries. Infinity Edge, Trinity Force, Bloodthirst, the Last Whisper coming out for Hjarnan at this point. On the other side, a little bit more defensive statistics in there with that Banshee's Veil for Freeze.
So Freeze has not died more than once this game, and he's played very safe. If you think of all the team fights, Ko has tried to make a beeline from trying to jump on him, and Freeze has not fallen victim to it. Or the rest of Cloud9, they're grouped up. If anyone goes forward, this is going to be so scary. This could be game.
Oh, this is bad news. This is real bad news for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They're going in towards Freeze, but Odoamne taking a lot of damage. Super Mega Death Rocket comes through. They have to use the intervention, but look at the tank. He's getting blasted down. Zoro Zero's dead. Can they get any more? Ko moves forward there. That was the decoy from Wukong. Baron is live here. They've turned around. They're going to take it.
Now, Cloud9 are going to be able to secure this Baron. So much was invested in just defending the members of NIP in that fight that they needed to back away. Ninjas in Pyjamas have made the same mistake within 3 minutes. They face-checked their blue, they had very little vision in the river, and they just walked straight in there. Cloud9 was sitting, waiting for them. Now, Cloud9 grouping towards the top inner turret. They steal the blue buff again, and they're going to start challenging for this tower.
Blue buff for Kayle. Tower is down. No chance to save that one for NIP, which means that mid lane not only has no inhibitor, with super minions pushed in fact I think there's a double super minion wave coming straight down there by now. Cloud9 are just going to sit and wait on the steps of this top lane until they have to deal with those super minions coming in. Ko getting connected onto, but look how fast they kill the towers.
Yeah, that was a decent enough catch, but without Zoro Zero to run in and try tank the fight, they didn't want to engage. There is a lot of damage coming down from Freeze. Odoamne is in trouble.
Odoamne is in trouble from this one. Ko actually is going to get away from it jumping out, but Freeze does manage to get the killing blow. Oh, that's a good flash actually. I think the Zap would have landed, would have got the slowdown there on towards Fabian, and he possibly would have been dead as Zoro Zero comes flying in. There's the culling. Well, it doesn't really do a lot. That's a good dodge away though from the briefcase, but with the ulti running, is he going to be able to dodge another one? Yes, he is. flash over into the race. Good play, a lot used there by Yarnan, but you have to give him credit. He probably would have died if one of those briefcases landed.
Definitely. With the briefcase plus the Glitterlance, it would have cost them. The rest of Ninjas in Pyjamas are trying to defend their Nexus turrets from the double waves of super minions from top and middle, and now that they've backed away, they have defended them. A good chunk of damage is missing from that left Nexus turret, and Cloud9 and Eclipse, having 2 inhibitors down from NIP, are now in, once again, complete control of this game. Cloud9 grouping towards this bottom lane. They're going to set their sights on that last inner turret and then just start sieging the third tower. Once again, using the tools they have available, using the lanes that they've won in their favor.
Cloud9 just having a bit of a shopping spree as well. Locket of the Iron Solari for Voidal on Annie. We see a Malmortius coming in for Kuon Kha'Zix. Death cap finish now for Febivin on Kale if he wasn't already doing enough. But look at this. NIP waiting. Cloud9 not going to fall for their own trick.
No, not this time round. Good scouting there from Coke. Even though they didn't have the vision, they could smell something was up. Were able to avoid getting caught out. I want to see how Cloud9 now decide to siege. It is only a 4,000 gold lead, but because of super minions that and the Baron buff, it's actually going to be worth a little bit more. And the way Cloud9 have basically won their fights and won this mid game is by catching NIP off guard, and then when they had the numbers advantage, tower diving. It's going to be a straight up 5v5, and these next team fights, if NIP make one mistake, it's going to cost them the game.
It will cost them the game. Febivin is destroying turrets at this point. They do not last long once they come in. Oh, they're actually coming from the side. I think they might just back away, yeah. I think a wise decision here from Ninjas in Pyjamas anyway. They are going to back off. We've got super minions coming in top lane. The minions in the mid lane are starting to push through as well. It's currently a 5 versus 4 down in the bottom lane. They have to make a decision to bring Zoro down or leave him up in the top lane to defend.
They managed to get a good zap onto Hyana, but nobody else from NIP could actually respond. We do see Zoro0. He was moving as if he wanted to defend that last turret. Now he's moved to the top lane. Zoro0 reading the situation fairly well. Cloud9 have not committed to the tower. They've decided to go for the exposed inhibitor. Death Sentence doesn't connect with anybody that Ninjas in Pyjamas want. Now we are going to see a 5 versus 5. Another Death Sentence goes wide. Mithy needs to get a connect. Flash Tibbet!
Flash Tibbet comes down. Nuke getting a load of damage in onto him there. Shaka actually is going to surely go down. No, he's spinning away at the back. Mithy will die though, and that's going to give them the opportunity to chase in there for more. Zoro0's right at the front of them. Actually, good damage from Freeze coming in. Odoamne finding himself all alone all of a sudden in the back of his base. He has to flash away from that. Gets out of range, but Nuke still chasing in. He will pick up the kill onto Odoamne, and in the end, that's a 1-for-1.
1-for-1 trade, and that was with a great initiation from Voidal. This time Cloud9 were able to respond. I think Freeze actually fired his Super Mega Death Rocket while the intervention was up. Freeze needs to delay that a little bit. He needs to keep his eyes open for that ability. Cloud9 did, however, get the inhibitor. So trading 1 kill for 1 kill, but getting the super minions to push down the lane, I still think they're going to be a little bit happy with that situation. We're going to need to see how Cloud9 once again continue to siege. The only thing Cloud9 can do is initiate and fight, because they don't have very good sieging, they don't have very good poke. If Cloud9 aren't going all in, they're not really going to be able to beat NIP.
Well, there are 3... Oh, sorry, I tell a lie, because the bottom inhibitor has now respawned. There are 2 inhibitors down at this point. We can see those red lines on the minimap streaming in towards the Ninjas in Pyjamas base. Top inhib has just respawned. As I said, bottom one, I was lying earlier on, because the turret's still there. You could have at least corrected me, Trev, on that one.
I was waiting. We've had 3 respawns. We've had 3 respawns on this inhibs. Super Mini is down the middle lane, and Baron coming up in 2 minutes. I almost feel like Cloud9 may want to try pull Ninjas in Pyjamas towards them. I think that what's worked for Cloud9 so far is getting superior vision control and forcing Ninjas in Pyjamas to react. And when Cloud9 are forcing NIP to play on their terms, Cloud9 are winning. That's how they've won this. They've pulled themselves back into the game. This Lulu is now, yes, has got great damage with that Glitterlance, but has become a little bit more utility-centric. Has got very good slows, and going to be reliant on wild growthing either Zoro0 or Shaka in these bigger team fights.
See that a Warmogs has been completed for Dr. Mundo. I think that actually happened quite a while ago, and just didn't quite touch on that one. So I don't know exactly how much HP Zoro0's got at this point of things, but one could imagine that it's a lot. 4,794. Almost 5,000 HP.
Halfway to 9,000.
Over halfway if you can do maths.
I think the fact that these teams don't have strong initiation, it's just It's frustrating to play, and it's a little bit frustrating to watch, because the only way to make something happen is to get a good flash engage from Voidal or to get a death sentence from Mithy. And Mithy's death sentence has been very good. However, he's caught 0-1 there in these sieging situations. It goes out so close to catching Ko. They probably would have gone in on that one had it connected. Now, a Locket is available now for Voidal, so if any of that burst damage comes down, Voidal should be able to block some of it. And again, see, Cloud9, they want to find a pick. They want to engage when they have a numbers advantage, and we don't have traditional engages, so I'm going to back away and play it safe.
Baron is coming up in 20 seconds though, so that may give Cloud9 a bit more confidence to get in there and get things rolling at this point. Actually, they've pinged the bottom lane here. They might want to be thinking about sending someone off there to split push. Zoro, of course, does have a TP. Look at this though, they're sat inside Baron.
Yeah, this is going to be so scary. They've jumped in!
Here comes the trap, they dive in. Shaka's going low. He does manage to get the Cyclone off Ko. Does get hooked in there as well. Can they damage him enough? No, he jumps out of the party, and that's a 1-for-0. 70 seconds spawn timers. They go back towards Baron Pit. Will they start this one off? Yes, they will. As Hook comes in, but he lands on the troll. Not the target that you're looking for. Ko getting good heals here as well, as they do bring the troll in once again, taking a lot of damage, but there is a Baron. Meanwhile, Voidal going low, will be finished off here by Freeze. They're actually doing well in this fight here, Ninjas in Pyjamas. Are they going to get another one? No. Ko flashes out to the backside, Yarn in the target, and look at the speed of Zoro in there with the teleport and those home guard boots. Ko is super low. There's the slow on Tiana. There's the shutdown. They can keep going. Flash from Freeze. He's going to take out Ko here as well. Takes the lantern back as well. And that is a 3-for-1.
Now the rest of Cloud9 are trying to get some more map presence. There are minions pushing the bottom wave. Febiven has got himself into the base. He's going to set his sights on the inhibitors. He should be able to get one easily. And a back away, doesn't want to give up more. That speed that Zoro had wasn't even home guard. That was just his ultimate plus the coin. Now he's running, still has his teleport available. So if NIP can get 1 or 2 more kills, they may even be able to play the map if they decide to. That's a flash kill, Lance.
Wow. That is ridiculous damage, but Febiven turns it around. Intervention's not going to save you there, I'm afraid. That's 4 men dead. Look, Annie's up in 15, but they've only got Odo Amne. NIP might be able to do it.
Well, we'll see what they can do. There are minions on the bottom wave. There are super minions pushing through middle. So it's going to make life a little more difficult for Ninjas in Pyjamas. We need to see when Freeze gets to this tower. Nuktak is doing a good job of killing his turrets, but it's taking a little bit longer than NIP wanted. They should be able to get the inhibitor and back away. Tower's now going to fall. Still 3 members of Cloud9 dead.
What a game this one is turning out to be. That inhibitor will fall here. What will Ninjas in Pyjamas do? They've got minions down on the bottom side. It makes sense. Go for that bottom inhib turrets, but the respawns are coming in. It'll leave 4 men alive for Cloud9, and to be honest, Ninjas in Pyjamas might be comfortable with that.
Cloud9 cannot defend this. Even with 4 members alive, there is too much damage from the rest of NIP. Freeze has sold his boots, and he's picked up a Zephyr as his 6th item. The reason that fight was won for Ninjas in Pyjamas is because all of the ultimates were unavailable for Cloud9 Eclipse. Subjugate had been used, the intervention had been used, and all Freeze did is stood at max range with Fishbones the rocket launcher, hitting critical hit after critical hit, thanks to that Fancy Dancer and Infinity Edge, and allowed NIP to get themselves back into this game, and arguably now in control of the game.
Well, they've had the gold lead pretty much the entire time. That's the interesting thing about this one. Cloud9 had bullied them back, had taken down 2 inhibitors. Only the bottom lane still has that inhib turret left standing. And wow, 52 minutes into this match. This is what we were hoping for here from the Challenger final. We weren't quite sure what to expect, but this is what we were hoping for. Extremely close match here in Game 1. And it's a best of 3, so we've got maybe 2 more to come after this.
We can only hope for 3 50-minute epics like this. I have to admit the mid-game was slow, and that is because of the compositions that these teams have put together, and we are now once again going to be in the exact same situation we have been previously. Cloud9 are looking for a place where they can catch NIP off guard. They're playing the Death Bush game right now. Ninjas in Pyjamas so far have got themselves quite tightly grouped up, but there are 2 Guardian Angels on the side of NIP, which is very important to note. Cloud9 want resets, and you can't get resets if you've got the GA. So, just leap to safety. That was a little brave, in my opinion. And look at the movement speed there just from Winston. Zoro0's got in on Cloud9. This could be the fight.
He's going in for this one. Odo Amne actually taking a lot of damage from the backside as well. He stood on the jumpers. They've hooked him in. They can finish him off here if they wanted to. But there goes Tibbers down into the rest of the team. The shutdown comes down. Ninjas in Pyjamas are losing men. There is the Guardian Angel popped of Shaka. They'll wait around and they'll kill him straight off from that one. That is going to be 2 kills for 1.
For the first time this game, Freeze is way out of position during the course of a fight. The Tibbers did come in. I think that's just the bear running around. There he is. In the fight, Boydell once again with a great stun in the middle of the team fight. And Freeze needed to be further back. Once Cloud9 threw down the shield and just committed to the fight, Odoamne and Co managed to find him, kill Freeze, and instantly Ninjas in Pyjamas realized they didn't have enough damage from the rest of their positions, and they tried to get away. Luckily though, Super Minions have actually grabbed the first Nexus turret against Cloud9.
This is absolute madness, this game. I'd like to actually just look at Nuke Duck for a second, because I think I just saw some pretty astonishing numbers on that. 738 AP.
That is why Febiven just got popped earlier. You get the Glitterlance, plus the damage from Help Picks, plus the Lich Bane proc. And that is just going to melt. But there's a couple seconds between each of those combos. So, you know, if you can focus Nuke Duck in that small period of time where you can get Febiven and Co to jump on him, you may actually be able to take him down. But as it stands, both teams, 90,000 gold on the board. You're hitting peak damage, peak survivability for everybody. And whoever just gets caught out basically dies.
NIP moving again towards this top side. Only Zoro0 going to show himself. We seem to be in a bit of a repeat of how that last fight all got kicked off, with people hiding in different bushes trying to catch each other out of things. We should mention though that Guardian Angel of Shaka's is down and out if they should fight now.
Co, however, has his available. So that is also very important to know. Somebody like a Kha'Zix who can, you know, go down, allow his teammates to get a kill, come back up, and then continue casting spells is very key. At this stage in the game, you touched on the fact that Lulu's got that 720 ability power. I just quickly looked at it, a plus 100% move speed on Whimsy. On a W, because of the scaling utility, basically doubles your move speed. Of course, there is diminishing returns to be factored in. Right now, NIP, they caught Co, didn't commit. Cloud9 still trying to defend the tower.
Inhibitor has now respawned there in the bottom lane for Cloud9. They're trying to catch in on towards Cobra. He speeds away from that one. That middle and bottom Inhibitor, of course, they're open there. We've almost got the mirror image bases going on right now, with just the top lane left alive for Cloud9 Eclipse and the bottom lane Inhibitor turret alive for Ninjas in Pyjamas, and they're so both very, very wary of going in. We're almost 1 hour into this matchup.
Co was trying to wait in the wings. He was trying to flank, and now Shaka is a little bit overextended. Ninjas in Pyjamas are kind of split up. If Cloud9 can get a good engage on somebody, this could be their moment, but fact of the matter is Cloud9 were a little bit split up there as well. NIP cannot afford to be caught out. We see Freeze going in. This is the start of the fight.
Co jumps in there. Shaka is going to decoy away to the backside. Zoro0 taking a lot of damage. The hook actually lands onto Odoamne there. They don't have Lulu, but Lulu is coming down. It's going to come in from the side of this Nuke Duck. Moves around there. Can he take anyone out? Co not taking masses of damage there from that one. Shaka's gone in with the Cyclone. Tibbers is already down. Shaka is going to fall. That's going to be the first kill here coming out for Cloud9. Can they get any more? Intervention comes down. Zoro0, he's very, very low from this one. Decides to skip away from the Lantern, and I think NIP is going to walk away. Baron's live right now. We might see that fight in Fight and 4. That's the word.
Nuke Duck managed to get the tower. During the course of the Fight and 4 in the mid lane, Nuke Duck got the top inhibitor turret. So there are only Nexus turrets standing for Cloud9. We did see Nuke Duck coming in from the side of the fight, but it was too late. Well, this might be a backdoor. Zoro0 is going to try go for Inhibitor. Oh, they've caught Mithy!
They've caught Mithy out, but who cares about Mithy? Let's have a look at the Inhibitor, because they are pushing through that one right now, and it looks like Cloud9 might try and go for this one. Are we going to have the base race going on? The Inhib has fallen, but Cloud9 are charging down the mid lane, and I think with Kale and with Lucian there, they can probably win out from this one. Double recalls coming in from the Cloud9 base. There is a zap landing onto Ku. Inhibitor goes down. Super Mega Death Rocket only lands onto Odoamne. They may try and finish this one off. Co taking a big burst out there from Nuke Duck. When he doesn't go down, he still has his GA.
There is so much pressure on Ninjas in Pyjamas right now. They've got 3 members, but there are 2 GAs. Both Freeze and Zoro0 need to be taken down twice in order to be killed. Nuke Duck is going to continue trying to slow down the members of Cloud9. They're low on mana, their cooldowns aren't necessarily available, and as it stands, Cloud9 get away, but that was the makings of a base race. Zoro0 teleported in to get that inhibitor. Now, Cloud9 setting up, as in as a death push, Baron's up, they're going to try bait it, we've seen this already, they're actually starting Baron.
They started Baron, and I tell you what, Baron is not going to last long here. We need to be very careful. Down to 4,000 HP already, down to 1,200. It will be Cloud9 to pick that one up. Shaka's in the middle of them. He uses his ultimate. There's his Guardian Angel. He just came back up after this, but it won't mean that he gets away from it. Ku will pick up that kill. They got the Baron. What's next? Cloud9 going home for a shopping trip.
That was a 4 versus 1. Mithy was not in the fight. He was at the base, so we didn't have a death sentence. We didn't have a box. There was no flame. Shaka attempted to steal, but he didn't even get his smite off. Once again, Shaka not landing the smites. He lost a dragon earlier. He didn't succeed in the steal this time around. And even though he had the GA and the wild growth with his Cyclone, Cloud9 didn't really care. NIP had decided to back away from that fight, and we're just going to hit the pause button for 1 more minute.
We're approaching 100,000 gold on either side of the map. It's 10-8 in turrets. Inhibitors, well, all of Cloud9's inhibitors are open. There's 1 turret left guarding that bottom lane for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Cloud9 are now pushing. They're the ones with Baron on. Are they going to try and utilize that here to finish the game?
20 seconds before Shaka comes up. If Cloud9 want to engage, it's going to be probably Voidal once again starting it. Using the coin into going to a Tibbers is the best way to do this, but they've got to get through the Guardian Angels of NIP. Now, Oduwamne is going to start this one. Subjugate hasn't been burned yet, so we're not convinced the fight's going to happen, and it's just this dance, waiting for the first bit of CC to connect. Cloud9 get the inhibitor and back away.
Oduwamne is down to half HP, though. They might fancy their chances from this one. Super Mega Death Rocket goes through. There's Ku diving into the middle of them. Who's the damage source going to come from? It's Shaka that dives in there. Ku going to take a lot of damage. He has that Guardian Angel, though, so he's coming back into play in just a second. Freeze is there at the front. They've caught out Oduwamne, but he's super tanky. He won't be able to walk off for now. Hyanan actually being burst down by Nuke Duck, who sadly for him doesn't have the mana to finish off. But is he going to be able to finish off? I may be telling a lie. The GA is popped. Mithy's going to wait here, playing backwards a little early there on the one, and Hyanan gets the kill. He's got lifesteal. He's having to go at Mithy. Can he finish him off? Yes, he can. Double kill for Hyanan. Insane.
The brains behind everything. Hyanan manages to grab himself a double kill after coming up from the Guardian Angel. Mithy throws out the death sentence half a second too early. It didn't get the root. It didn't lock him down. Now the rest of Cloud9, they got the inhibitor in the top lane. There are super minions in the middle lane. And Ninjas in Pyjamas are scrambling to defend. Febiven is picking a fight with Freeze, but he's got to get through that GA.
He's got to get through that GA and through the damage that Freeze can throw his way. That's a nice intervention. There comes the zap. He gets the slow. He should be able to finish this one off here. Doesn't have mana to keep going through. Febiven is getting away from this one. Freeze decides not to keep going, but we've got super minions running into the base now.
Freeze has sold his Zephyr and repurchased boots. He grabbed himself another set of Berserker's Greaves, this time around with the Furor upgrade to get that movement speed while chasing. And it's very interesting because the one fight that NIP lost was when Freeze was caught. He's valuing the mobility right now. Cloud9 backed away. The rest of NIP defending the Nexus turrets. Everyone's going to respawn, and we're going to do this all over again.
What a game. I cannot believe how close and amazingly interesting this one is. Look at the goal. Both teams over 100,000. We're over an hour into the match. We're tied on kills at 20 apiece, 10-8 in turrets, and it's just game 1 of a best of 3.
It's mind-boggling. I think Cloud9, both teams actually have made good plays and have made misplays when it comes to getting caught up, when it comes to these team fights. And the only thing that has really sort of been consistent is that Cloud9 have had control of the map for longer than Ninjas in Pyjamas have. Cloud9 have got more inhibitors down over the course of the fight. They've had super minions pushing into NIP's base, and NIP has always been playing defensively. But that's because of the composition of NIP. They're not necessarily the strongest at setting up a fight because the only initiation they have is the death sentence. Now, Cloud9, they've gone all in. Hyanan went very aggressive under that tower. They've got the last inhibitor turret, and they're on to the third final inhibitor now for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, but they're scared of it, and there is the coin pop. They're going to go chasing in from this one. There is the Cullen going back onto them, but Voidal taking tons of damage from Freeze. They have to back away here. Their support is too low. There goes the Super Mega Death Rocket. Doesn't have enough damage. They back away. NIP have got to push the waves out once again.
Yeah, Cloud9 got the last remaining turret, so all entrances to Ninjas in Pyjamas base are now available to them. They only have to get to those Nexus turrets. NIP cannot afford to overextend. If Ninjas in Pyjamas go past their red and blue bust and so much as sneeze in the wrong direction, Cloud9 can easily backdoor, grab themselves inhibitors, and potentially the game. Instead, Cloud9 have grouped up. They think they've got Zoro a little bit out of position. Oh, that hook was so close to Ko. He's been dropped low by that Glitzerlance, and again, Cloud9 looking for an opening, looking for an initiation.
He's got no Guardian Angel here. That is down at the moment for Ko. Everyone else has their Guardian Angel available to them though, so just to keep that one in mind, and probably the danger and why Cloud9 are thinking, you know, we need to be a little bit more careful about this one when he doesn't have that up for himself.
Cloud9 need to be even more careful than Ninjas in Pyjamas, because if Cloud9 lose one or two members in and around this area of the map, and Nuke Duck is able to interrupt everybody else from getting back to their base, you could see Zoro Zero teleporting to the backlines, teleporting to a minion that maybe pushes towards Cloud9's side of the base and could grab himself an inhibitor. I think that's what Ninjas in Pyjamas need to try and do to wrestle some map presence back. As it stands, NIP, once again, they're staying even, they're winning fights. I mean, as far as every metric is concerned, it looks close, but it's not been NIP in control.
Baron is coming up here in 45 seconds as well. You see the NIP pushing this mid lane straight back out there. Hyanin going to have a bit of a dig at Zoro Zero. And actually, they're going to catch Zoro Zero completely out from this one. He may go down. No, he comes in. Wild Growth goes down. Who's going to jump in there? Cyclone comes back. Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't finish anyone off. Shaka going low, but all the damage goes to his decoy. He gets himself over the wall, but there is Ko diving in again. They actually pop the talisman, start to back away. The hook flashed away from as well. Crazy stuff, no one dies.
Zoro Zero was so close to going down, he had to burn everything to stay alive. That was also great escape from Shaka. Realizing he was about to get killed, so he throws a ward down and uses his Nimbus Strike over to the Wraith Camp, allowing himself to get out cleanly. Now, Ninjas in Pyjamas feeling that they're more confident, they're going to try and siege up this inhibitor. Cloud9 have already recalled. Ko has got himself full HP. Look down the ultimate. There's nothing really available for Cloud9 with the exception of intervention. They're going to pick this fight. Ko's gone in!
Here comes the party as Ko dives in. He actually gets his GA pops here though. The hook brought him right down and they were able to finish him off. Can they actually kill him? No, Mithy dies at the backside. Shaka gets a Wild Growth onto him. Freeze gets his GA pop. This is not good for Ninjas in Pyjamas. There is a kill on Freeze. 3 men down. It's 5 versus 2 right now. Surely Cloud9 can do this one. Why have they gone back in? I think they know that this one's over. Zoro Zero gets his Guardian Angel pop. But as he comes back up, they're going to throw everything at him once again. And they will be able to finish him off here. It's going to take a while. Radquin's coming in there as well. He is still running away from this one. Massive flow. And actually, you know what? Screw it. It's still alive. Zoro Zero gets away from that. They're going to both recall. But Cloud9 are pushing. They've got minions on the inhib already.
There's no ways that these 2 members of Ninjas in Pyjamas can defend against 4 members of Cloud9. Cloud9 are going to try get to the inhibitors. We'll see if they siege down the Nexus turrets. There are a lot of minions to work with as they grab the first inhibitor in the siege. The rest of Cloud9 are now grouped up, and Zoro Zero and Nuke Duck have to do a monumental task of defending. Let's see how they do.
20 seconds is what they've got to hold on for. Nuke Duck actually going to use his Sonya's there. Febiven used the intervention on himself, and I think this is going to be the game here. We do see Febiven go down, but they're focusing the Nexus. It's finished off. Cloud9 Eclipse make up game number 1 after 67.5 minutes. My God, was that fantastic.
Non-stop action in the late game. Once these teams decided to commit to objectives, they went all in, and they went in all in multiple times. The look of happiness on the faces of Cloud9 was immense, and if you look at Ninjas in Pyjamas,